Hey, Marcel? I was struck by his sense of brief yet distinct strangeness. Hey, is that the thing? The stranger? And was compelled to speak with him. Yes, manager. Don't hesitate to let me know if there's something you want to say, but aren't sure if you're supposed to say it. Yes, manager. I will do as you ordered, should one such circumstances occur. As always, his reply was deflatingly concise and direct. As though he had some rule of his own that told him this was a specific response for situations like this. Okay, but I'm talking about right now, actually. Do you have anything to say right now? No, I do not. It did not appear to me that he was trying to hide anything or choosing his words in response to my question. His reply was simply that, an answer. Nothing more. Yes, I prepared answers written down in a list of responses. That's what it felt like to me, as though this particular answer had always been the only one he had available for situations like this. Okay. I joke a lot about how the various sinners might be autistic. Marcel might actually be autistic. That is a very like autistic response thing to have, like if A then B response type situations. Clearly prodding him for answers wasn't going to get me anywhere, so with a curt "sure if you say so," I turned away from him and took off to join the other sinners. As I did so, a few words lingered on top of my proverbial tongue, asking to be let out. So I did. It would have been nice to know what you were looking at. Of that, he spoke. I cannot form a judgment. What? That is because the precise definition and nature of the subject of my gaze are just as unknown to me as to you. Should you point to an object or an enemy, I can provide a verbal explanation based on my current knowledge. If you require such information, please rephrase your question accordingly. Had I asked him again then, had I tried to get to the bottom of that line of questioning, could I have found myself in the smallest peek into Marcel's psyche, which had remained entirely shrouded in mystery even after an entire year of traveling together. His psyche. Yeah. I suppose that's not up for me to judge as well. Manager? Yes? Another battle is imminent. As you have previously instructed, I have informed you of an imminent battle. Yo, boss clock. We're just gonna sit there all day while we do all the fighting? They're pouring out of the building over there. So they must have been on their way to that building. Our path ahead seems clear, Executive Manager. Let us neutralize those foes up there. Gotcha. Be right there. A brief lull of battle came to a close, and battling enemies who arrived precisely at the time Marcel predicted. We made our way into the building. Bloody hell. Them blokes we fought downstairs must have been weaker than ones of the bunch. Wait, we just skipped a whole ass battle again? How does Encore have so many guys on their payroll? There's no end to them. It is a wing after all. Are these the taboo violators? I thought the culprit worked alone. No, I'm quite certain they're the ones from the subsequent reports. Encore fixtures appeared just as confused as we were. It's clear to me that they were expecting to find the taboo violator here, not a big group of a dozen or so people. What were they thinking, sending fodder like us to deal with an organized taboo violation? They should send taboo hunters here instead. Why do you think they told us to consume canned experiences containing mass melee combat? Oh! They must have thought our current manpower would suffice to deal with this. Okay, so, one, you do actually have to physically eat the canned experience, and two, you can learn stuff from canned experience. I don't know about that. Wait, wasn't there an extra report? No, one of them's all of a sudden, with a click, the room began to buzz with the metallic whir of some kind of machinery. And immediately I could tell what it was. A distortion. Standing in the middle of the shabby room was the device I wasn't sure if I'd seen before. Its exterior was plastered with strange shapes that looked similar to what we saw in the Tunokun's faces in our earlier battles, making it difficult to grasp its full shape. The round object affixed to it began to rotate slowly, a dull, worn-out groan of a thing past its prime. Men! Shield your eyes! The moment began to emit a faint ray of light. Otis thundered in a commanding voice. Quickly I turned away as well, making sure not to catch even a glimpse of it. The device could be playing a recorded video, Executive Manager. Even a brief look at it could constitute a taboo violation. Shit! I saw that. I'm so finished. Just as panic began creeping into the voices of several unlucky individuals. Oh man. Folks, this is starting to get a little embarrassing. A sleepy voice breaks through the darkness past my, metaphorically speaking, shut eyes. Mentor? Eyes open, Ongdu. What's wrong with everyone? Got dust in your eyes? The hell's wrong with you? Don't you know anyone who watches even a split second of recorded video and encore gets... Of course I know, but I watched it anyway. Open your eyes, esteemed fellows. This motion picture isn't recorded. Hang on. He's right, that video's not recording. Possibly emboldened by Kim's comment, or perhaps believing that seeing the video could be excused as incidental exposure occurred while subduing violators. The Encore employees also opened their eyes and began to mutter amongst themselves. Is that thing talking to us? I finally allowed myself to get a good look at the machine, which is firing a conical beam of light to the side of the wall. And this was its message, delivered via white words on a black background. So you've tracked me down this far. After what I went through to take refuge in here, I still ended up finding this place. All of you blindingly consuming fake experiences after fake experience. Won't even care about the real thing. Case number TC3224. You're under suspicion of a Category 3 violation. Review yourself now and forfeit your illegal recording. Should you comply, we will... What is foolery but witness buffoonery in the absence of fools? A hollow vessel bereft of all but lingering delusions. Grants not even a brule of echo to the dogged exhortation of tools. What does that even mean? What's exhortation? Exhortation. Means scraping or scratching the skin until it bleeds. What's a brule? Hold on. Low murmuring. Okay. The hollow vessel bereft of all but lingering delusions. And grants not even the low murmuring to the dogged scratching of tools. I guess he's saying like, there's nothing left of the device but like the echoes of its former usage? God, this is some like AP English nonsense. Oh good, I'm not the only one who has no idea what Kim's talking about. What's this fella on about? You mean to obstruct our official duties? We won't hesitate to use force. Clang. Without even so much as turning around, Abu-Hada Kim raised his sword and parried away the Encore, employing a nail-shaped weapon. I'm only speaking as my whim guides me, my dear fellows. No need to get so huffy. I only aim to say that this abomination has no consciousness. After what I went through to take refuge in here, I still ended up finding this place. All of you blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience. Don't even care about the real thing. It's repeating the same sentence over and over. Oh, that does make me wonder. Was that just so as far gone when I distorted? Past all words and reason? I mean, if anyone has any answer to that question, be you folks, right? Kim said nothing more. Turned a piercing look on us, all while effortlessly swatting away the Encore employees' attacks. As though he was goading us into telling him the truth. Well, don't suppose there's any point in asking. I'm no different from this abomination. Just who wields that contraption, I must have wielded the only thing I've really known. The blade transforming into a mindless fiend consumed by a mere tool, leaving through both friend and foe unrestrained. Hey, Junior. Are you still on about that? Hey, I forgot. He did kill all of his Blade lineage students. Whoops. It's all your fault, Bamboo Headed Kim. They're all dead because of you. I tried to avert my eyes. Truly did. Such disregard is easier said than done. How can I, when that distorted being has no qualms showing me the... Does he know how rude the unsolicited reflecting of the fathoms of one's heart is? It's gotta be illegal or something. Legal, I say. You're a customer into a thug on a protection racket run, a mere ant before a car in motion into a swerving driver. Conjuring dead fellow followers before the eyes of their mentor. Simply unconscionable. Rude as hell, as some might say. My poor heart almost burst out of my chest, courtesy of you. In that split second, I think I saw Mersault's eyeball twitched. The battle is imminent, Manager. This is a natural response to sensing an imminent battle, perhaps. A blinding flash, followed by an explosive bang. My vision went white, and I decided to take its damn time coming back. And when it did, first thing that came to view was a particularly unsettling landscape at Escort, followed by the bamboo-headed Kim surrounded by a small army of Chinook. Mentor! Keep that up and you'll shot me deaf, Ongdu. Ain't about time we both grew accustomed to such sights. Mentor, still do I wake from these dreams drenched in cold sweat. And they might bind and drag you away. This ain't so bad, is it? It's just these folks so far. Unlike earlier when... An air flash. What was that? Everything went dark. I don't understand what's happening, but first things first. Gotta neutralize everyone here and get our mission back on track. Adjusting projection. I've been straying far and wandering all day for this exact reason, and... That's what's its mechanism. Faust? When the words began to shift rapidly before I had the chance to ask Faust what she meant. The one who finds comfort settling in lies. I give you what most deserve your gaze. Bollocks. I'll be blind before the day's over at this rate. It changed. It did? Unlike the earlier instances, one of the distortions is different from the others. As Marcel identified, there's something different about the group of Trinokun this time. They're accompanied by someone else. A warrior in impressive armor, wielding a sword just as tall. That armor, the great Hondo of the South Circle. To be reunited in such a manner. The warrior drew a bow and hung from the waistguard. And knocked an arrow. I suppose this is how it would have gone down had you been the one to grab me. Military Commissioner Im Gyong-Yup. How you doing, fair friend? At the signals, arrows loosing. Seize the cursed. The warrior loosened a knocked arrow, which soared through into the sky with a piercing whistle. And with that air-splitting sound as their cue, the Shinukun began to swarm us.
Limbus Company!
Limbus Company! Hi, Rosanne. How you doing? You've missed, not much. You know what? I saw a comment saying that actually Blade Lineage
허점에 두지.
Sinclair is okay.
피가 범람할 시간이요.
And that the really bad one, there is no saving Otis though. No saving Otis.
허점에 두지.
출장
피가 범람할 시간이요.
가시죠.
망설임 없이. 지위를 받는 건 오랜만이네요.
Alright. Let's go for support. Why is Otis so bad? Why is Blade Lineage Otis just so bad? It's like, it's not even a season 1 ID, is it? Wait, it might have been a season 1 ID. It's like such dog shit.
피워볼까요?
Oh wait, whoops. Just You got it, sweepers. I feel like Bamboo Head Kim should be helping in this fight. I'm just gonna throw it out right now. I think he should be helping. Huh. Okay.
그려낸 대.
Ow. Wait, there's another character that doesn't unsheath the blade. Just smacks you with the scabbard.
아름다운 것. 그렇지 않은 것.
God damn it. Ezra's so funny. Yeah, claimed her bones, Sinclair. Do the funny attack.
자세에 틀림은 없군.
Alright, let's actually read what this boss does. Game 3 memory transition, blah blah blah. When returned to a field based on current battle form of the homeland, either gain or lose. Sal. When in battle form of homeland, bear hunt. On skill use at min or max stack, convert all coins is used into unbreakable. 1 to 2 stack -6. Okay, so she flips between plus and minus coins. Yeah, I've already seen this boss in the mystery dungeon, so I kind of know it's a woman. Bear hunt uses single coins. Tiger hunt uses multi coins. Thank you for the hydrate. Okay, what puts her in bear versus? Okay, if you break the shields, that will end this fight. Okay. I don't particularly get it, but I'll figure it out. Eastern Warstride armors are not so much equipped as they are piloted. S-Corps Diojong Brigandine is one such example of such armor. Much like R-Corps power suit armor and full plate armor used by the Knights of the West, the Diojong Brigade greatly augments its use of offensive and defensive combat capabilities. Yet these advantages do not mean that armors of such potencies are readily supplied for combat personnel. Each unit has its own unique controls and comes with limitations requiring separate fields. What remains certain, however, is that with all the aforementioned armors, once a rider has familiarized himself with the Diojong Brigadine's extended reach and heightened power output, because of the machine of war that strides across. Are these? Wait, so they're Space Marines, or they at least have power armor? That's kind of cool. Losing a clash. What's that? You're gonna make me lose a clash? Oh, then I guess I'll take them bones.
망설임이 없도록.
I do wonder what causes the boss to switch between bear and tiger mode. I'll check it out next turn. Ow. Lost the clash. You know what that means. Give me them bones. Sometimes you want to be dominant alpha gal. Oh, guys, sometimes you want to be dominant alpha gal. All right. Let's see here. Unaffected by Sao, unclashable if assist units prioritize the center. Skill is defense assist. We're gonna break. Lose. On hit as an unopposed attack or on hit against target, use. I don't get it. I don't get it. So what causes her to swap between... So I understand this right here is mainly how she gains and loses a lot of the okay. Yeah, so she's gaining or losing based on this, on these two skills. Okay, on hit as an unopposed attack or on hit against target that uses assistive defense. Okay, so clashing that makes her gain stacks. So right now she is in bear hunt mode, which means she wants to get higher stacks. So let this go off without issue, but clash this. Okay, I think I get it. It took a little bit of reading, which is, you know, not necessarily the best thing to do as a Limbus player, but I think I understand how this boss works. I can in fact read. Takes a little while, but I got there. I got there. Oh, does no one beat a 13? Wow. Nothing beat a 13, okay.
물의 배들.
I guess here's... Yay, I passed the literacy skill check.
나부터 상대해야 할걸?
Okay, yeah, I think that was an unbeatable clash when she was at high stacks, but because I saw the whole reading thing.
어중간한 연민이
Wait, what?
필요한 고통을 가져오는 거야. 목숨을 거두려 했다면 머리를 베었어야지.
Shouldn't these guys be like jumping that thing right now? Why are they trying to kill us? Oh, they're not gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it.
물의 배들. 귀와 요격. 균형 상수. 상전. 정민화. 검수망 모드.
Actually, yeah, earlier we were like trying to wait, was that my chance to like kill these guys?
무엇을 그렇게 깝깝하게 쳐다만 보고 있고 그런다냐? 저런 놈들은 큰질 세 번이면 다 썩었구만.
Okay. Seems different after 3 turns. So right now she's in tiger form? Right? Yeah. She's using a lot of multi-hit skills right now. So we want to up her stacks.
발검. 차단. 이 순간이 닿도록 베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어낼 것. 호, 제 행위. 그렇다면 무상이다.
That is like kind of an interesting mechanic where like you have to intentionally take a hit from the unopposed stack in order to weaken the boss. I need to add stuff like that into the Fabula Ultimate campaign. Not for the encounters I have, but like maybe in the future some kind of like boss that like if it constantly avoids connecting, it'll just get stronger and stronger. So you need to like figure out if you're going to allow a hit to go through in order to remove its like ramping damage stacks or something like that.
이 순간이 다
Oh, hey Winter, how you doing? It's a good mechanic. Yeah. I need to steal more mechanics from other RPGs. That's probably what I need to do. Because I was thinking about that when I was fighting the dragon in Railroad, where you have to like intentionally trigger the boss's nuke in order to make the future nuke not worse. Hammer, hammer. Get wrecked, noob!
적에게 치명성을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Okay, next turn she's gonna swap forms back to Tiger Hunt mode. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll have the number clashing at the end, so as to when she swaps back over, she will be in a weaker position,
그려낸 대로.
while still maintaining like my advantage for this turn.
아름다운 것. 그렇지 않은 것.
Eventually, I'll have the skills to ferret out all the cool boss mechanics. It's gonna take a minute to get that online.
이 순간이 닿아도록 베어내리라.
I mean, I could also probably borrow a lot from Final Fantasy 14 as well. All right, swap.
너희가 걸어야 할
Wait, why are there new guys?
여전히
Why are they still protecting that thing?
멀. 또 멀고.
Okay, lesson learned. I'm gonna take out these guys in their Encore form first because they're much easier to deal with as Encore specialist in Chinokun's. They're actually pretty shit. Well, I mean, I guess Merceau did say that these guys aren't mainly combat focused. Poor guys. They really are just fodder.
귀와 요격. 그냥 단수가 이어졌다니.
아, 몰랐네. 담배 떼쳐서 힘들 뻔했어. 만만치 할 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다. 샴페인을 가져오기엔 너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠.
Yeah, we can assign 3 to this, and that should finish it off.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
But never mind. Ongdu might finish off the thing before I could even move. Okay.
사실 이런 보모구실은 제가 아니라 세피라들의 역할이긴 하죠. 관리자님도 알다시피 저는 언제나 수십 명의 몫을 해내고 있으니까요.
So you don't want to clash with that. Okay, gonna have to break out a ego. Wait, I have the opportunity to make Sinclair do some aura farming. Alright, Sinclair. Prove that you're not a useless Blade Lineage member.
세 번 배웠다. 과거를 1000번 간주하였대. 미래에서 1000번 거슬러 찰나의 일수. 다시 1000번의
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
Yeah, block that bow. Even though you rolled the tails.
옛날에 외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네. 한 놈만 잡아주자 했더니 일대를 다 쓸어버렸던 놈이겠지.
I think this might finish off. Maybe.
이라는 대로. 낮도 밤도 치고 숨이 닿도록 베어내.
개체의 유효한 속성을 정확하게 간파했습니다. 제 예상만큼 관리자님
Oh no, my bones have been claimed.
증명되는 것 같아. 다행히
골단.
Damn, still has 800 shield left, huh?
그냥 5배.
숨막히도록 견뎌왔고 절박하게 갈망했으며 헤아릴 수 없이 저주했으니
이야, 당연히 그 시기 해야지. 그런 것은 쫙 보면 뭘 써야 하는지.
Wait. I have the option to do something really funny. All right. Show off how much you like your master, you saying. Show off how good of a Blade Lineage student you are. Hi, Roland. How you doing? How goes the grade 9?
이 순간이 닿아도 베어내리.
No, 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 I'm not erasing you just yet.
몰아치는 것.
Alright, alright.
처절한 원망.
Perfect. Still alive. Alright. Do what he's saying. Finish him off.
위장에 묵직히 얹히는 총신을 느끼리라. 흉악한 총탄이 저들을 관통하리라.
Oh, I think he lived. He lived with 8 HP. Marcel's gonna die to bleed next turn. Well, we won. It would have been so much funnier if I got him with the bullet. I shall set my form aright. Just a little more. I think we'll be able to smash that dang thing to smithereens, but... Yeah, but it's really hard to focus on one thing with that huge war zapping in and out of reality as soon as we make ourselves an opening. It'd make our lives a whole lot easier if we could get rid of just one of them. Battle seemed to be taking a toll on the sinners, more so than usual. It wasn't that we were up against insurmountable foes, and not even close. Not to mention how Ezra and Ongdu were helping us out. But... shite, haven't they had enough? About time to give up, innit? Oi, don't you go lugging it again? The big sword carrying fella sure is kicking our butts. I know they're the key to solving this distortion. We ain't exactly flush on options, are we? X is blocked and it ain't like we can stop mid-fight to strategize. With the battlefield constantly shifting and flashing between Angkor and S-Core, we simply did not have the breathing room to focus on either the projector or Im Gyong, who was swinging with that great blade at a frightening force. Besides... Ongdu, go cover his back too. It shall be done. Angkor was sending far too many people against us. There weren't many at first, but it seems the sun's spike in employee casualties in the area so close to the nest had alerted Angkor to our location. How do we get out of this? Faust? Otis? Help me out here. I decided to stop racking my brain trying to navigate a situation I know so little about. Instead, rely on the sinners with possibly more experience in the field. I don't know if Faust has a lot of field experience. But I guess in the sense that maybe one of the Faust and the Gestalt might have it. First, I need to know if there's any way we can deal with endless reinforcement Angkor sending after us. And second, will defeating Im Gyong or destroying the projector bring an end to this distortion phenomenon? If I might speak freely, Executive Manager, it's unlikely and our present forces will be sufficient to overcome the current rate of enemy reinforcements. Not only is this battlefield situation situated in close proximity to the enemy stronghold, but there's an unpredictable variable in that strange machine that makes neutralizing a single wave of enemies difficult. I regret to be the bearer of bad news. We are trapped in a battlefield but with a single exit, which the enemies have already blocked. Without reinforcements of our own, there is little hope of prevailing in this current predicament. Yeah, seems like that way to me too. Where's Moses? They've talked about Moses a few times, but like, where is she? Maybe we can neutralize the distortion phenomenon at the very least. Faust recommends entering the Dungeon of the Fathoms as our exit. Dungeon of the Fathoms? How can I enter if we can't even talk to distortion? Wait, maybe. During the LCB regular checkup back at LC. He says all you have to do is read what's on the notes in front of his distortion. Apparently it's some kind of code. Right, keywords. This one seemed to be location type distortion, which means that regardless of where the bright flashes take us, Angkor or the twisted caricature of S-Core, we're still within its range. In other words, as long as I have the right keywords, I can summon an entrance to the Dungeon of Fathoms from anywhere within it. Okay, so what do we know the keywords for distortion then? Onheim had provided us the necessary keywords for his distortion back then, but this time we had to figure it out on our own. First things first. One of them has to be photograph. Look at this photograph. It's obviously been present throughout this entire phenomenon. If I may, perhaps experience be one of them. He's saying put his 2 cents in, having briefly retreated from battle to the backlines. There's an undercurrent of obsession with experiences staining his every trail, must ought in relation to what has caused his distortion. Experience. The concept alone lacks substance. It must be something more grounded, something that is once synonymous with experience, while maintaining a through line to end-course technology that was once the core of his obsession. Canned experience? Most likely. Thanks, Faust. Alright then, photograph, canned experience. Not seems to transpire as of yet. It didn't, but I could feel it. Are these the kind of photographs you use to make canned experiences? But that's what the strange sensation was. Mentioning that word shook the distortion and caused that rippling effect. That's clearly not enough to force open the dungeon of Phantoms. How many other keywords could there be? Scraps. Sorry? Oh, I thought we were all taking turns sharing what we might have caused them to distort. And going by the way you folks were saying your pieces one after another, I thought this was to be some sort of Zen riddle. Not a Zen riddle, no, but where'd scraps come from? See, when enjoying the benefits of slacking off at work, all kinds of mundanities come to possess far more interesting qualities. Sometimes they're revealing secrets invisible to the eyes focused elsewhere. Take our person of interest, to wit. He's been poking around this area of town with an eye-wateringly expensive camera in tow, so conspicuously that every store owner I'd lightly prodded for information had tales about him. Each tale added another facet to the long saga of a once-driven man. A man with a can-do attitude, an uncanny ability to pull himself up by his own bootstraps, and clear a path towards the nest residence. He became so bewitched by photography that he eventually squandered his fortune on what was, in the end, nothing more than a pastime. And what went on until he found himself reduced to a pauper, barely making rent on a scrap heap of an apartment. In pursuit of his ideality, the man has lost grip of fortune and reality. Sought out his apartment and found a few scraps of his writing. When cold rain drips through the roof, when mold tepid humidity together encroach from the earth, the mind begins to wander lost. Eventually, madness is evoked within a form indistinguishable from drunkenness. The pauper loses himself. A shadow darker than any I've ever seen on Kim's face crept beneath the shade of his eyes. No, I had seen that look once, in the past. So, it'd be more accurate to say that I heard it in his voice that echoed in his fathoms, disturbed by guilt and regret. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that this distortion had, amongst the countless people here, taken a particular interest in bamboo-headed Kim. Photograph canned experience in scraps. Like inserting a final piece of the puzzle, the space before us momentarily warped and flashed, opening a pathway to distortion's fathoms. Well then, we'll be right behind you, Executive Manager. Miss Ezra, this is what I've seen them. The gateway to one's fathoms. This is it, huh? Neat stuff. But, before she could finish, Ezra had to redirect her focus from her discussion back to the battle. Most of the sinners were caught in the same predicament. Some managed to disengage from the battle and prepare to enter the Dungeon of Phantoms, while Honglu and several others were still busy holding off the Encore employees. We're gonna follow us right in there if we run now, right? Probably. Even those who aren't chained to Dante like we can't travel through the pathway once it's open, so... Or, who aren't chained to Dante like we can travel through the pathway once it's open, so... Yeah, let's not drive ourselves into an even narrow corner. I'll keep them at bay. During that, bamboo-headed Kim stepped up. My sword arm's not what it once was, but it should be enough for this. Besides, I have little wish to set foot in some ill-omened place to be tangled in such a bizarre mess. Is that really what he thinks? There's something in his eyes that led me to believe that this was more about than just staying behind to protect a rear. He was... WTF? Huh? What a terrible front. At least try to pretend to be sincere and make it easy for us to believe you. Did you think that terrible excuse was going to fly? Ugh. What are you trying to avoid, Sword Swinger? Not some kid trying to get out doing his homework. Remember hearing that entering a dungeon of fathoms. Bring one to the spiritual fathoms the distortion is gazing into. And what lies within must be my very own. For what is the abomination is, or that is what the abomination is gazing into. It's decided then. You're coming with us. We ain't about to walk in blind to a place we know shites about, mate. Guys in there, yeah? Oh, that's... It keeps it simple. You try that too. Learn the hard way that homework. The summer reading doesn't go away just because you don't look at it. It's still there even as the summer break comes to an end. Turning the last day of your vacation into an all-nighter. Arashiki's scabbard vibrated cheerfully in agreement. But Ryoshi's never had summer homework. Stop procrastinating, go do your summer reading. What was it you said? Face the homework, save the GPA? Face the sin, save the ego. It is, after all, the attitude the company expects of its employees. Go, Junior. You guys too. LCB, I can handle them all on my own. You'll make a lone stand? Hey, who the heck do you think I am? I'll show you why Team Leader Moses felt safe sending me out alone with you guys. This is basically a monster of the week situation for Team Leader and me back in our duo days. I can handle them all on my own, no problemo. I wanted to see how you guys handled the inflection point, but I guess you can never really have it all. Oh well, I guess I'll just have to trust our two OSIR team newbies to handle that. Now that I think about it, I think I'm setting a pretty good example as your team senior, aren't I? I don't like this, but I have no choice in the matter as long as this employee card hangs in my chest. With a sigh, Kim shook his head and joined us, dragging his feet all the while. I shall take the vanguard. Mentor, be warned that the entrance is floating. Take a tall step over and you might trip. I can clearly see that won't do. Bring me a ladder if you're really that worried, why don't you? Huh? Have you in need of one? That's a mere jest. You didn't worry.
구, 언, 올. 하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군 거를
It's taken a while. But I think I'm finally enjoying Ryoshu's jokes.
돌아오고 있어요. 뒤틀림에서 다시 사람의 형상으로. 살수의 방식으로는 절대 도달하지 못했을
Hi, Vampy. How you doing?
이젠 좀 알 것 같네요. S사로 떠나기 전까지 제가 현장 추리팀에서 무엇을 배워가면 좋을지.
Okay, let's grab.
꽃을 피워볼까요?
You're rotting at work. Oh no. Work rotting. And that's how everyone's been living. In my life, my photographs too. So this is S-Core too, right? It is reminiscent of my homeland. But the sights are much too hideous compared to what rests in my memories. Hideous was apt. When we emerged from the entrance of the dungeon into S-Core streets, what greeted us was a distorted and eerie scenery. I wouldn't be surprised to find us in a S-Core themed haunted mansion. It is a place hardly fit for human habitation, far more dilapidated than once expected. Thou sayest that people inhabit these lands for truth? Really? I think it has a cool vibe. Vi's my foot. I don't think I'll ever be able to get a wink of sleep in here. The lives of the downtrodden were beset by 1,000 woes and tenfold more struggles. And the streets they inhabit reflect that reality. Many times had I contemplated in consternation how the folks here had even the will to live on. The shadow that had begun to haunt Kim's face still lingered there as he looked around. The distortion revealed the fathoms of those it gazes into, as Kim had said. Perhaps this is how S-Core is reflected in Kim's eyes. On the days when the skies were spotless blue and without orders from the counselor, I would scale the roof of that toga and feel it rustle beneath my back as I lay upon it. I thought it to be a respite solely mine, and in this mirror world, there was walked there before my arrival. I joined him in looking up at the thatched roof of the toga. Beneath it, a wicked tunnel have I passed, and now I witnessed myself before the one who shall strike the head from my torso. There was a figure standing tall next to the building, staring defiantly up towards the man on the straw roof. Im Gyeongup. Are you home? Are you home, I asked. Huh. What a strange visitor I have. Hey, fried chicken. Good stuff for lunch. Why not call at the front gate if you've come seeking the master of the house? Be not like a dog barking up the wrong tree. It's unbecoming. A dog? Really now? I can see you up there lounging on the roof. I'm not gonna speak to the door like I'm blind. Has a spell of some sort befallen today? As such an odd occurrence transpired twice successively. Quite successive. A work of a bewitching spirits, I say. What's so bewitching about checking in on someone? Isn't it odd? The high and noble military commissioner of our esteemed corporation would come in person to simply check in on how a lowly mercenary fares. You know me? He certainly knows her jests. She marches forth vested in war strider armor and expects no violence. He wields a two-handed great blade like a demonic yaksha. It harbors no hostile intent. Why, who else might she be but the military commissioner Jongho, the principal of the famed Aim family? You certainly are in the habit of speaking hyperbole. I'm not so noble that I deserve to be complimented with an epithet so grand as the principal. Not a compliment. You see, Commissioner? It is a rhetorical technique known as a backhanded compliment, in which I damned you with praise, for you are so bound by your precious principles that you would rather be unreasonable than to betray them. Doesn't an officer ranked second ordnance have no wit to engage in such banter? Why? Am I out of line, as they say? You two are friends, right? Ooh, this was our first meeting, so no, not at a precise moment. I know I'm just saying that as about her, but I wouldn't ever let myself become friends with you after such a bad first impression. Can't imagine becoming friends with someone who keeps pushing my buttons. Maybe, but people do find friendships in such personalities if they have a taste for prickliness. You've got a friend in us, don't you? Fine, you have a point, I guess. I do have a habit of pushing people's buttons too. But still, I hope you're not seriously comparing the way I talk to his sissy gotcha digging pun riddled. Whew. Well, the world we live in is a vast and diverse one. Consider yourself lucky that you're surrounded by so many quirky characters. Because of that same luck that she took the joke well rather than respond by trying to cut off my head. You are out of line, yes. But I know you would be, so I won't take issue with it. Though I must admit, the rumors of your sharp tongue do you no justice. The streets speak of a man they call Kim Lip, a bamboo rain hat. a man who once had intended to pursue the path of the brush, only to realize the sins of his forefathers and exile himself to the backstreets. And with sheer power of will, gritted teeth, and scarred heart, they find the path of sword another way into the nest. It's a right state counselor sworn guard at that. That's you, isn't it? All those superlatives, yet the reality is that I've merely found the path of a man butchery as a viable way of life. Direct any compliments you have towards the right state counselor, if you will. I am but a butchering blade that happened to fall into the right hands. Ah, not a compliment. Just word on the street. You're a quick learner. And spare me the fancy reading of my name. Watching you pretend that pompous posturing comes naturally is painful enough already. Keep it simple and spelled out as bamboo-headed Kim, thank you. And does he continue to veer away from the line? I'd rather be a corpse cold and dead than stay in line. Have a shred of mercy on me, almighty one. I come all this way just to punish you for every little misdeed and ill manners. I would have laid you out and split you in 2-3 ways before this riveting dialogue brought us this far. Don't feel safe to continue traipsing outside the line. In return, would you answer a few of my questions? I've been watching you from a distance for a while and... Really? Talking someone's not very principled of you. You sure she didn't give you a good wallop after that? No. Really a mystery, isn't it? Besides, she didn't give me free rein to continue traipsing outside the line. Couldn't in good conscience turn down such offers of kindness. Not I ever do. You sure have a way of words. Way to find your way under the listener's skin, huh? Perhaps, yet are such tapes not to be expected amongst fellowships of close mutual bond? You don't look like friends yet, though. So, care to tell us why she's been watching you? I was engaged in the age-old pastime of throwing rocks. What? What? Oh, you speak of the game of Sukjon. Today's for the festives of Donna. I was throwing rocks at passerbys. Wait, you're just throwing rocks at people? And that's what attracted her? Damn, you throw a good rock. Got that guy right in the back of the head. Fie on thee. That's a wrong deed, good sir. I suppose it is. People Peo and Sao in particular found it to be distasteful, and did not let their discontent be hidden. But the P in the downtrodden cheered me on. And to a degree they found it cathartic. Oh, curious. Is it right deed or a deed not right? Pio? Sa? Whatever is it thou art describing? It's a well-known truth that S-Core is known by its other name. Sao Pipio... I didn't even pronounce that. Okay. Sao Pipio Agro Industries. Pronunciation guide. Salpipio. Close enough. Salpipio Agro Industries. A wing specialized in the general agriculture and livestock industry of the city. The vastness and depth of responsibilities has necessitated such division of labor. Thus, District 19 is split into 3 court circles, responsible for different aspects of industry, Sao, P, and Pio, each meaning flesh, blood, and bone respectively. Sao, responsible for the cultivation of rice and other grains. PO, responsible for meat and livestock. And P, in charge of the technological aspects of both. As a scientist and a researcher who once toiled at Escor, you must have felt the persecution of the P faced firsthand. It's believed that the Trinity was once designed for balance, that they would provide assistance when requested and keep one another in check when needed. It was once a promise of cultivating a fair and sustainable Escor. Alas, the noble intentions of yesteryear now lie sullied. The Trinity now degraded into 3 quarreling bands of profiteers blinded by avarice, relying not on honor but betrayal and perfidy to claim the top of the triangle. And here that the flesh claims the position of the chief state counselor and monopolizes rice as the common folk starve. And here to the bone. Once a right state counselor, toadies to Sal and rises to the seat of the left state counselor. And such shameless conspiracy permits not the common folk to even till the land as they please. Anguish cries as suffering floods the street. Thus the common folk are reduced to livestock bleeding out, hanging from a hook while bone and flesh collude like that of the emaciated dead. Who shall claim the severance of flesh and bone and force them both to yield? An oft-heard poem when walking the streets of Escor. Oh. Then the people whom thou targeted with thy rocks were... They weren't people. Rats. Rats? Oh yes, the counselor finds these rats detestable. Much better to stop them from a distance if you want to crush them. By any chance, do these rats have a habit of sneaking into the royal court to better pilfer what the common folk rightfully deserve? They certainly suffer from a severe case of kleptomania. He purposely threw a rock at his feet to trip on the ground, knowing he is a klepto rat. Oh, I simply couldn't help but react to such the presence of scurrying rats. Is there aught you find funny? Speak if you do. I could use a good laugh right about now. Just hardly expressing my gratitude, that is all. Those whose corruption is revealed ought to be readily received with scarlet or hell ribbons. The gall to scamper away with their expensive prosthetics. My men were having some trouble apprehending them. Until now. Oh, if that's your intent, you're invited to leave a token of gratitude somewhere in the vicinity. Perhaps I'll happen to pick it up. Wouldn't want to get thrown into dungeons teeming with real vermin. Oh, I was going to do just that. So when will you stop being a sword and be human again? What? When do you clock out? Hey, just straight up asking him on a date, huh? The way I see it, you're not the kind of person who will ever let a drop of liquor get to his tongue while on duty for the right state counselor. You turn to this chogo when you're human again. I'll buy you a drink, it thinks. Ha! This is a funny one, Mentor, then this fellow you had often mentioned fondly was... Correct. Haven't I mentioned a few times as drinking fellow I had left behind in Escor? Must say, I myself found that relationship most intriguing. A military commissioner of the South faction would want to fraternize with a bodyguard of the right state counselor, who was of the P faction. Still, I had not known that the fellow was none other than military commissioner of Escor. Hongdu's eyes had gone wide in shock, her voice rising unconsciously. It is news to me that he had such ties to a second ordinate official, a military officer with command over high-ranking employees at the wing at that. I was in the service of the right state counselor. I was the first ordinate, you know. Well, that might be true, yet. Yet you would like to know why I, with such powerful friends by my side, have ended up in exile from Escor. Yes, your silence over the matter of such great import is why I have come to introduce you to others as a reticent one, Mentor. We had made the blade lineage our home, where Escor availed no home for us but the lineage. But you, Mentor, I'd rather show them than tell. Let's proceed, shall we? This enchanted place seems intent on unearthing all my past, both savory and unsavory. All shall be revealed in due time. Kim looked around, a twinge of loneliness in his eyes, before moving on. He followed without a word. We emerged into a dark and muggy cavern filled with air so stale it almost felt stifling. Up ahead, a thin ray of light shone through the darkness, seemingly guiding our path. Following the light led us to a four-way fork in the road. A constant, powerful gust howled through one of the paths, and the air was filled with a metallic tang, the smell of blood. And there was a path entirely silent, and the last one echoed with a harsh noise of sword striking against sword. Which path shall we take? The sword one. So how many people are fighting up there? We must proceed with caution, Executive Manager. There may be a battle on our way. The listeners all looked disconcerted as the strident noise of metal against metal was an unmistakable sound of battle. We stood ready in troubled silence as the sounds of war only grew louder and louder, until they came to a sudden silence thought. A pedestal made of stacked stones appeared before us, but none of us knew how long it had been there. Atop it was a red accessory, the kind that would hang from the bottom of the hilt. Alright.
반드시 팬다. 아비들도 거미집도 지금까지와 앞으로의
Is that a chain battle? Oh, thank God. I get to be lazy. Win rate! You got it. Well said, sweepers. Well said.
망설임이 없도록.
아름다운 것. 그렇지 않은 것.
I love win rate and chain battles.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어.
누가 이어줬다.
그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
Win rate and focus battles tends to be really stupid.
베어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지어 숨이 타도록 베어내리라.
Now I know why people keep throwing, showing Bamboo Head Kim with this man throws rocks. True. He is in fact a rock thrower.
빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고무대 같았어.
이제 어떡하지 같은 시시한 말은 하지 마.
Oh, the Chinnaguns are negative coin IDs.
적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는
Ow, 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 ow.
쉽게 하지 않아요.
Marcel's getting his ass kicked. Marcel's getting his ass kicked.
직원들이 긍정적인
What happened,
생각을
Marcel?
보이게 되었어요.
What happened?
관리자님이 이 기회를 잘 활용하길 기다리겠습니다. 기계는 언제나 기다리는 운명이니까요.
Oh wait, he did the thing. I was rubbing my eyes. I didn't get to see actual Kim clean bones.
하지만 슬슬 몰리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군.
Damn it! I look away one moment and someone's bones claims. Excuse me. As we are slowly looking towards around the streets of Escort, a youth, after fidgeting and hesitating for a moment, walked up to us and asked for help. The youth explained that, wishing to better his own status, he took the royal examination and came to public employment policy in Escort, was then able to attain a high grade for himself. That was where his problems began, and as far as he knew, people who passed the exam with flying colors like himself had their travel expenses paid for the homeward trip and were to be granted a guide. But there must have been a misunderstanding or something, because when he left the exam grounds, no one was waiting to escort him. Confused by the unexpected turn of events, he wandered away from the exam grounds in search of his escort, lost his bearings, and found himself in these alleyways. Asking if we could help him with directions. What should we do? Let me ask my group if they can help. Mersault opened their mouth to again, stopped, then turned around to where Bamboo Head Kim and Ongdu were. I'm not so well versed in the geography in this area. Perhaps Mentor would know better? Come on. Kim let out audibly disconcerted sigh, then walked up to the youth to give him directions. And take off that royal celebratory flower crown. You don't want people to know you've passed the exam. Huh? But why would... It's for a good reason. Just do as I say, and you'll thank me one day. You've decided to stare... The youth stared back at him in puzzlement before seemingly deciding that giving proper gratitude to Kim's assistance took precedence. And as what appeared to be a small ceramic vessel. Might this be a water dropper for brush calligraphy? Though you may have no practical need of this. For I see none of your skill are much acquainted with the art of grinding ink against inkstone. I impart this gift to you in the hopes that this dropper may form a small flow in your rivers of life. Huh. Though it made for a rather moving moment had it not been for an exaggerated scoff Kim gave, the youth hurried on his path without minding the sudden discourtesy. Ongdu later asked him what had spurned his sudden outburst, but he didn't give her a reply, instead choosing signs behind pursed lips.
묘스럽군.
Okay, there's gonna be an ad break real soon, so I'm gonna take a small break while we run ads, and when we get back, will be Limbus, this limb battle. Okay, quick BRB. Okay, we are back. I'm a little concerned because, like, results at 1 HP. I should do something about that.
죄를 새겨주겠소.
I'm afraid Mersault's gonna just die.
전투가 이어졌다면
놀랐네. 담배 꽂혔어. 이만 찰 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
처음으로 숨통이 트였던 순간을 기억하네요. 저는 지금이군요.
자세에 틀림은 없군. 마음 둘 안. 아비들도 매번 이런 식이었다.
Wait, why isn't Faust healing? Oh, interesting. Why is Bamboo Head Kim's Yield My Flesh a lust skill rather than pride?
망설임이 없도록. 흉터의 결과야.
놀고 수밖에. 낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 타도록 배워내.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요.
지금 완전
관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠.
He loves claiming bones too much. Oh yeah, 3 HP. Thanks, Faust, for that 2 whole HP heal. Very cool. There better be a heal spot right before the final boss.
무파법을 이제 좀 이해했고.
A single red coin skill is probably gonna kill Mersault at this point.
귀와 요격. 균형 삼수. 놀고 수밖에.
그러지. 그것은 투자하게 갖다 줘야지. 아, 별로 어려울 것도 없잖아.
Shit. I reset the dungeon. I'm only 2 battles in. There's in fact no heal spot.
엄마 안 잔다.
There was? Fuck. Oh, I can skip the cutscenes. Depending on the question marks I pick. Oh. I'm only 2 battles in.
그대, 이 검이 필요하오.
It's fine. I still don't know why Mersault just ate shit right at the start. Alright, well, we get the option to check the other pass. Wind Howling Path. Wow, the wind's pretty strong in here. Wind's only got more turbulent as deeper we progress. By the time we were nearing the end of the passage, the students could barely keep their eyes open and had to cover them with their arms. All of a sudden, tranquility arrived. The wind settling as though it had been blasting us in the face just a moment ago. The dust the wind kicked up has dissipated and revealed a scarlet robe haphazardly thrown atop a pedestal made of stacked stones. When crit against an enemy, inflict 1 bind. On use the skill against the enemy that has bind, gain 1 poise. What? That's way better than the other one. That's way better than the Scarlet Tassel. That's like infinitely better option.
뛰어가겠네.
그려낸데.
Who's giving me SP at the start of the turn?
이 순간이 다 되어내리라.
뭐셔? 다리에 총 맞았냐?
즐겁겠군.
무자고 없이
Ongdu is? Oh. It's probably Ishmael Ongdu. I'm probably activating some kind of support. Oh, let's see.
하고 터진 것이 제법 보는 맛이 있단게.
Wait, nope.
아버지도 싸게 터뜨려야 쓰겠지.
Maybe it's NPC Ongdu? I have no idea.
물의 배들.
혈이 난자오. 흉터의 결과.
이제 싱 수에선 벗어났나?
What? Why is his counter clashable? Why is his overthrow clashable when Mersault's isn't?
귀와 요격. 함수.
아, 놀랐네.
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요.
만찰줄 알았어.
관리자님은
빨리 좀 하지
당신이
그랬냐?
생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘
죄를
말씀드렸죠.
새겨주겠어.
저는 언제나 옳은 일만 한답니다.
Bones are about to be claimed. Bones have been claimed.
눈에 담을 만한 가치가 있는 예술이고.
Can you really even call him Bamboo Hat Kim if he's not wearing a bamboo hat right now? Alright, let's try the other one. As soon as the users disappear from our sight, Bamboo Hat Kim, who had slinked back away to the back of the group, suddenly left out a deep sigh. Have you ought to say, mentor? That's me. I'm that youth. The sun revealed through the cinders for a brief loop. Back then, I was a conceited fool who proudly smelled his own farts, not knowing how ridiculous he appeared. The exam was to compose an essay on the certain someone who had committed treason against Escor. Full of foolish confidence as always, I wrote them a super long paper humiliating the treasonous witch. That no such embarrassment could ever stain our history again. Only upon arriving home did I realize who he was. Who would have known that the treasonous witch I had execrated, sabotaging the exam, was none other than my own ancestor. Then the reason you did not seek out a seat of an official even after passing the test was... How could I dare, Ongdu? Why do you think no Escort volunteered to guide my foolish past self? Because every soul in Escort but myself already knew what I had done. Who I was, a bastard who betrayed his own ancestor's name to pass an exam. He muttered placidly as though he was sharing a mildly funny joke and walked ahead of us. But it needn't shame me into breaking my brush, while I already done that myself, while quickly hiding his own shaking hand behind the other. Got nothing for that. Got nothing but story.
반드시 팬다. 아비들도 거미집도 지금까지와 앞으로의
Hello, Agnes Center.
그
We're in the Dungeon of Phantoms. I had to reset once, but otherwise doing okay. I had to do a brief reset because Mersault ate shit.
귀와 요격 함수
정리노화.
It didn't completely, but like bad enough that I probably should reset.
물의 배들. 무타법을 이제야 좀 이해했고.
I don't understand why the other blade lineage don't follow
개체를 꿰뚫었습니다.
Don Quixote.
참고로
Like,
기계는
if you're so good with one sword, surely two swords would make their blade lineage twice as good, right?
숨이 타도록 베어낼 것.
That's how swords work.
이것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지. 별로 어려울 것도 없잖아.
발검. 차단. 이 순간이 타도록 베어내리라.
See? His overthrow rolls for 35. What the fuck?
배워냈어요.
담배 떼차서
누구라 떨고 수밖에.
이만
이제
집중을 했으면 빨리
싱수에서
좀
벗어난다.
결과요.
옛날에 외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네. 한 놈만 잡아주려겠더니
망설임이 없도록.
There goes the funny bone claiming.
그 새끼들 만들라고 했던 것이 이라고 저걸 갈아 마시는 거였나 싶어.
귀와 요격.
욕심
떨굴 수밖에. 귀와 요격.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어.
전투가 이어졌다.
적에게 치명성을 입혔군요.
Whoever is able to do the three sword style wins the BL Kuro War.
대단한 능력을 갖추고 있고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠.
감각이었네.
저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
낮도 밤도
Yeah, I guess the Kurakumo would be the BL's
베어낼
Rivals, wouldn't it?
속성을 정확하게 간파했습니다. 제
the
예상은
old Kim Salt reveals made in season 7. Truly.
증명되는 것 같아.
Truly.
다행이군요.
Like him having a clashable counter. Did I see Kim reacting to Kim Salt existing? No, I didn't. I catch a glimpse of a figure staring off into darkness of the unlit prison. Bamboo had Kim lit outside, but before he even fully exhales, who goes there? Sharp cry cuts through the stagnant air. Someone must have noticed us. What should we do? At least put a little effort into your lives, huh? Clearly pretending to be prison guards the way we are, it was a lie too easily disproven. We took our heels as the woman, red with anger, comes after us with her sword and sheath. Well, I've missed a whole bunch of these.
알고 침식도 양호.
Just up for the first time when... No, it can't be. My life is... The experiences and the memories I had recorded are different. Alas. Kim came to a stop with a grim look on his face. Again, I returned to this day. His voice had dropped to the same morose pitch we had heard before. Mentor. I have been here before. Have you? That peaked in my memories when I distorted, did you? I must say, it's a bit embarrassing to have my deepest, darkest secrets revealed like that. Him grinned sheepishly as though to clear the air. It was becoming rather clear to me what he was doing. That his flippant demeanor and seemingly devil-may-care attitude were but a mask to hide the true darkness in his heart. Then this must be, indeed, the right state counselor's estate. Someone whom I had once protected. That was worth protecting. Kim pushed open the main gates and made his way into the front yard. Alright, enjoy your shower, Hugs. Ha, that's supposed to be me too? Look at him, so serious. Maybe it must be after the day had come to pass. Watch out, Ongdu. Take a tall step over it or you might trip. There were bodies splayed about the yard, and I couldn't dare start counting them. I felt faint watching the aftermath of the carnage. Some were decapitated, some had their torsos split diagonally. and some of them were so mangled I could hardly even tell which parts belonged to who. Are they not retainers of the royal court? What are they doing at the councilors? No. Were they killed by assassins? Assassins did infiltrate the state, yes. You're looking at what remains of them. I had but a moment to glimpse it. I clearly remember what S-Corps logo I saw in Kim's Phantoms looked like. The hats these corpses are, or were wearing, are adorned with the same logo. So why is Bamboo-Headed Kim calling them assassins? In this corrupt land, the right state council's life was always so precarious as the candlelights in the tempest. Such is the fate of all those who have the guts to speak the truth in S-Corps, where positions of influence are hoarded by the corrupt sycophants who chokehold on power is ironclad. The most prominent among them, the left state councilor, with the chief of state councilor's blessing, sought to wield his own private army to silence forever the tongues of those who would advocate against the corruption. Private army? But they are prohibited in our homeland. So they're kind of like how the great houses of H-Corps each had their own armies. That's similar to what's happening, but not exactly. If S-Corps circumstances were to be explained in plainer terms, it would be akin to a situation in which a company whose employees outwardly appear to be working all on the same side, is in fact fractured within, with certain departments pledging allegiance to a different individual than the chief executive. Well, assassins there had been in the past at least wore masks to hide their allegiance. I thought this no different, though with assassins slightly less invested in maintaining their disguises. Not realizing I just placed my stone inside the tiger's maw. Looking around at the yard teeming with the assassins, I recall thinking it odd just how many of them they sent. Though the left state council's power had grown to loom over the king, I should have realized how ridiculous such a brazen attempt on the life of one of the triumvirate councilors at the royal court would have been. Foolish. I can't. I failed you, counselor. There's simply too many of them. As though they decided that tonight was the night they finally slayed a counselor. Or die trying. I was soon overwhelmed, and some of them eventually managed to get around me and reach the counselor's bedchamber. The moment I heard them breach the door, all strength left me. I fell to my knees. Team Lib, I'm a poor excuse of bodyguard, and I failed you. And I knew that the author of the foul schemes was the left state councilor. Let this be my final act of loyalty ere I depart this life. I am too meager a person to carry on your will, counselor. What can I do is plant the seeds of terror into the hearts of the unjust, if only to shackle their unblack hearts from committing greater misdeeds. I shall go before the villain who contrived this betrayal, and see the favors repaid with steel. Only by such vengeance shall the counselor at last close his eyes in his grave. Or so I thought. What? Greetings, honored bodyguard, right, counselor? I see they have been made to work hard. You've been hard at work. Accursed parasite! I ought to flay you alive and reveal the wretched soul underneath. Some gall you have to show your face here. Oh, here? You mean the home of the honorable right state councilor who toils day and night in service of the royal court? I know the assassins were sent by the left state councilor. Get out of my way. I shall collect your head once my task is over. Alas, this unsightly display of anger shames us all. Are all those who live by the sword so uncouth as you? The cruelty of your damning words is an oppression upon decent men like myself. Let's see how long you can eat me, soldiers. Arrest that man, butcher. What? The accused shall heed his crimes. 1 moon ago, an anonymous letter threatening to take the life of the revered right state councilor arrived at the royal court. This audacious, contumelious effort is an affront not only to the royal court, but the heavens and men alike. The revered left state councilor has long been in disagreement with the right state councilor on matters of the state, found this offense to be so heinous that, He has personally commanded his men to protect his political enemy on the day written on the letter. Huh? And a tragedy has struck. All those lives sent to protect the noble counselor are slain, the bravery and justice of their honorable hearts trampled upon the ground by this villain. And now the villain promises death to yet another pillar of the royal court. Thus we are, perforce, to arrest the criminal and restore the rule of law. You sprout nonsense, drivel. I saw your men make their way into the council's bedchamber with their blades drawn. Counselor? Maybe you're looking for the right state counselor here, alive and well. My lord? The vile wretch leaned down next to my ear and whispered, "Perhaps you should have known where not to stick your nose. Did you really think you could overcome the entire private army of the left state counselor's service? Sent so many of his men to their deaths, just to lure me into a trap? Why? Now don't take this as a compliment. You're not even an apex blade of the homeland, nor are you the Ungiom. You've been rather egregious obstacle in the execution of my plan. Couldn't get through with the first thing in my plan, with you constantly getting in my way. Just keep you nicely locked up and out of trouble. This can't be. For what it's worth, young man, I'm sorry. I've come to realize the error of my ways. The truth is, though Escor is indeed a pond of turbid water, it was those like us who had stirred the dirt from its bed and turned it cloudy. During the worst, we arrived to protect our revered right state counselor. 1,000 curses upon the villain in his quest for the right state counselor's life. The butcher's man has already watered the ground with Escor's laborers, the very lifeblood that runs in the veins of his most serene wing. And that charcoal-hearted villain is none other than the counselor's sworn guard, Kinlib. Heed us, O villain. And obey! And let the Orha bonds take you. You fall, my friend, who were once considered candidate to the honor of the Ungiom. And with that, the brand of a Nobi sapping your strength. Giving your mastery over the blade will only dull. Are you to be my executioner, Jongyop? I didn't receive the orders to behead you, if that's what you're asking. Nor would it be fit somewhat of my station to soil my hands with an executioner's blade. How will you live on now? I don't know. Counselor has abandoned me. There's no path forward. The Pipio Agro Industries is more corrupt than I thought. Rotten to the core. This is where the game ends. Time to resign my stone. Indeed it is. Why are you freeing me? Once the game has been lost, you start anew and test out our gambits in the next round. Why don't you stop playing this unfair game where the opponent always starts with stones placed on all 9 star points of the board? Find a place where you can begin anew in equal standing. As soon as they realize it was you who freed me, they'll come after you. It's okay. Like someone who's made a fool of himself and fled after passing the royal examinations. I have the court's backing as his military commissioner. My position in the court isn't so fickle that they would cast me down right away just because I let go of someone like you. You're a branded criminal. In the eyes of the royal court, you're as good as inconsequential. I'll report that even if you were to flee, you would still be nothing more than a plaything in the palm of their hands. I didn't think you were the kind to go against your honorable principles. Some things can't be done without bending a rule or two. And you are indeed Escor's future, and that future is in need of those who are less bound by expectations, like yourself. Besides, it's not the rules I stand by, it's my own principles. I did say I owe you a token of gratitude, didn't I? Consider this a settlement of that. Gratitude and vengeance, after all, share a common quality. They're both debts to be repaid. Young, come with me. There's no hope left for S-Corps. You said yourself, didn't you? We'll never win as long as we play their rigged game. Listen, they may have a 9-stone advantage over you, but to me, it's as small as 3. I'll manage and keep my finger on the pulse. Besides, change doesn't always have to come from the outside. The old wisdom says that to catch a tiger, you must enter its den. But wouldn't it help to have an ally waiting in the tiger's den to back you up when the time comes? There, all done. Your bonds are severed. Go now. Go and build your strength beyond the walls of S-Corps. Yet beware of relying overmuch on foreign powers. I don't have it in me to take up such a grand purpose. I'm done with S-Corps. You know how I am. I just go with the flow. Yes, do as you will. Go with the flow, be whatever you want to be. I'm just hoping that the currents of the river will someday bring you back to S-Corps, that's all. Though I left a rigged game, my records afterward weren't stellar. The laying of the stones on my board was always full of holes and mistakes. I joined the Blade lineage, became their mentor, dragged them to the library. Eventually I cut down those who had placed their faith in me. Self-defeating move after self-defeating move. When Gyeongyop had let me go, I thought I had escaped the Tiger's Maw. As I let the game progress with the flow, I soon came to the realization that my life was an endless sequence of connects and dies. I was in a losing play from the start. Shadows dancing by the distant humanoids began to grow like wildfire. And those in the attire of the Blade lineage one by one leap over the wall and approach us, like the projections of Kim's darkening phantoms. Go play more of Library Ruin to find out Bamboo had Kim's adventures in the library. They're from his memories. Films and photographs can sometimes remain undoctored, but the impression a person gets from reviewing the photograph is malleable. And they must be after. Yeah. He believes that if the Blade lineage were to come back to life, they would want to kill him. Probably. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing to lead them into the library, because they were desperate. We know by definition the library takes desperate people. I don't know how they would feel about Kim killing them though. Probably not good. And the answer is probably not good at all.
그려낸 대로.
My favorite Blade lineage member, Ryoshu. Yeah, don't you know? She's been there from the start. She was always a Blade lineage member. I wish they'd buff the old Blade lineage members to also make them bleed poise. If only to make them consistent.
망설임이 없도록.
Damn, so close.
삼촌들이랑 공원에 같았어.
자오.
원망도 엿하지나.
탁 식어불구만. 싸울 생각도 없는 놈한테 크게는 건 재미가 없는데. 이린 게 하기는 하겠다마는.
All right, this should finish him off. Are they just poised?
이어졌다면
I mean, with the ego, Kim Salt now becomes poised bleed, and then Ishmael is poised bleed. So I think they're trying to move him towards poised bleed, but that's kind of like stepping on Kurokumo's territory, right? What does Kurokumo do now?
많은 기억을 쌓아줘. 언젠가 그 중에서 가장 멋진 곳에 나를 데려갈 수 있게.
I mean, it's kind of crazy that the ego can buff Kim into being a poised bleed. A man with a sword hanging from his belt was wrestling an old woman, trying to take away bags she was carrying. It soon became clear that from their arguments that the old woman was the man's mother. Though it seemed like the old woman is trying to reprimand her son, he responded by manhandling her, refusing to let go of her bags. Should we do not and watch? That man will surely injure the old woman. Should we get involved? Yeah, we'll go with threats. Mersault held up the weapon, turning it on the man in a threatening manner. Whoa. Why is this dialogue so long? The man seemed to shrink back in fear. Ultimately, the old woman who was arguing with the man was also no less frightened. A moment later, the man snatched the bags and disappeared in the dark alleys. I thought I heard Bamboo had a Kim click his tongue under his breath. We told the woman that we could retrieve her bags, but she let out a heavy sigh and a tired sigh. The man was the son, she said. There was no need to go that far. We asked her to get the full picture of the situation. But she told her son had once been a bright young man, talented in both the brush and the sword. One day he left their home in a rush, saying that he had noble cause to serve. That's no crazy spirit had made a home of his mind. Since then, he would return home from time to time to carry off the family's grain sack, and what little belongs to their home had left. That's the blade lineage for you. When people gather under one banner to form a syndicate, rogues will always find their way in. Many of them call themselves blade lineage, but in truth they're no better than brigands and highwaymen. My distaste for such sorts prevented me from keeping them close. I was hardly a righteous soul myself. It's not my place to stop them, nor do I have any reason to. Oh, so he didn't establish the blade lineage, he kind of just like joined them and then rose up the ranks. The old woman asked us to see whether her son was living under another's heel and persuaded him to come home should we ever happen to run into him again. Then she invited us in for a warm meal, saying that although she had little to offer us, she would not ask such a favor of us without filling our bellies. Hey, full heal. That's the full heal that Hugs was talking about.
꽃을 피워볼까요?
대부분 분야에서 저는 최고의 성능을 내는 AI지만 응원은 조금 더 준비 시간이 필요합니다. 공감의 영역은 잘 쓰지
Is
않을
Kim and that guy just gonna have a counter off?
하거든요.
Yeah, they are. They're just staring at each other, like preparing for a counter. I think Kim knows that that doesn't do anything. He's just being lazy. He's being lazy. He's dodging work again.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라. 발검. 차단.
So true, Sweeper family, so true. I like to believe that anytime Kim does like a counter versus the enemy counter, he's just taking a break, you know?
이만치 할줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 공호대 같았어.
흐드러지게.
재혼했어요.
지루하군. 하지만 이런 시시한 전투에도 긴장감을 불어넣어줄 비장의 예술이 하나 있지. 박수갈채
Oh, I was like, what was that? And then I forgot that sometimes Ryoshi just breaks out the ukulele that she took back in Kanto too.
된다면 사활을 건다.
She's been holding on to that thing for like a whole year.
귀와 요격 한수가 이어졌다면 정보라 떨굴 수밖에. 귀와 요격.
이제
떨굴 수밖에.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
She needs it for her YouTube apology.
놀만치 노른 것 같은 게. 이제
What would you even cancel Ryosho over about?
고생되었다.
Considering like all the stuff that she's done, you'll be hard pressed to like name one single thing to cancel her over.
을 밝혀 앞길을 열어라.
Like a prey backed against the cliff's edge, I am left bereft of paths. My hand hesitates with no room to place the stone. Misjudgments burgeon when contemplations herald a mind indeed. Now, all that remains is to neutralize the one enemy combatant in the yard. Tell me, who's waiting for us in there? You should know this place and its enemies are projections of your memories. The hardest guess to make is it. Expect to find Im Gyeong-yeop in there. Yeop was a woman of loyalty and principles. Even as military commissioner, she never stopped wanting to change the way the royal court was. But even she must have broken. In the end, I scoured the newspapers and TV for anything I could find on the current state of S-Corps. It was plain as day that nothing had changed there since my departure. Mentor. Is that not but a baseless speculation? Your concerns grown uncontrollably? You've never spoken to us about such a monstrous one in the past. Thus, what lies before you is but a figment of the distortion reflecting upon your memories. Did this Ingyo appear as a monster, as that monster does, Mentor? No. Yo wasn't like that. Young-op. I still believe that South Pipio Agro Industries deserves to die. But destruction's not the point. The point is that I want it to be a place where I can cut away the avaricious, corrupted end. Have it be a wing that cares for its common folk. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought you were seeking to supplant the current S-Corps. You know that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just a wanderer floating down the river's flow to where the currents take him. You have to imagine any change that's happening in S-Corps and S-Corps, they'd immediately censor the shit of that and papers. Oh no, political intrigue is always makes for good papers, you know? When the river bent and I hit a wall, someone picked me up and made a blade out of me. Once abandoned, I returned to the flow and found myself a mentor. It also afforded me the undeserved faith. And the river continues to wind, carrying me back to S-Corps, whence I had fled. So I let the blade sing my inner thoughts. You think I'm satisfied with the way S-Corps is? But your method, as it is now, goes against the principles. I expect better from someone of your wiles. If you enjoy those principles so much, then why ask me to leave the game? I think someone has to stay behind and try to bring change within the limits of their principles. Good night, Winter. Bye. Thank you for stopping by. I only hope that one of those bends in the rivers of yours will float you back to knock on the gates of S-Core once those prime for change. Has it changed? What do you think? You at least seem to think I have. Because you believe that I shall stand in your path. Stand in my path. And stem the flow of this river evermore. Very well. The law states that denial of the will of the royal courts is a crime deserving a death by beheading. I, Im Gyongo, second ordinate of the South PPO Agro Industries, official of the sword and military commissioner to the royal court, shall uphold the command and sever the buds of a rebellion before they propagate.
대부분 분야에서 저는 최고의 성능을 내는 AI지만 응원은 조금 더 준비 시간이 필요합니다.
Okay,
공간
so
영역은 잘 쓰지 않았던 기능이라 일단 먼지를 털어내야 하거든요.
she's in coin mode, so you want to lower the coins.
발걸. 차단.
이 순간이 닿아도 베어내리라.
Why is she so much bigger than everyone else? Is it because of the power armor that she's in? Yeah, it must be the armor. Kind of cool that S-Core has power armor. Like Space Marine power armor. Give me them bones.
오, 제 행위. 그렇다면 무상이다.
Okay, that's only rend space, not the good rend space.
그려낸 대로.
This boss isn't too bad once you figure out the way that her blade stacks work.
이 순간이 닿아도 베어내리라.
It's just a lot of initial reading. Kim is so cultured in his choice of friends.
확 식어버리구만. 싸울 생각도 없는 놈한테 패배는 건 재미가 없는데. 비리게 하기는 하겠다마는
All right, now we need to let her blade rise, because next turn she's gonna swap over to tiger form. How does she keep losing SP? Is she losing SP from just a clash, or is there like a passive going on?
자세에 틀림은 아름다운 것.
Because normally losing SP doesn't make you or losing a clash doesn't make you lose SP like that.
이 순간이 다 되어내리라. 낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어내고.
개체의 유효한 속성을 정확하게 간파했습니다. 제 예상만큼 관리자님
Probably something to do with her panic type. You're probably right.
다행이군요.
I actually think she's easier without her like entourage of encore reinforcements. But clash that.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
No! I didn't realize Bamboo Head Kim was trying to do his funny bone claiming. Ow. You know what? I should probably set up Thor Logica so that I can start healing my guys. Ooh.
이 순간이 다도록 베어내리라.
Yeah, I'm not used to the funny bone claiming being orange either. Okay, raise stacks. No, I want to save that bone claimer.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
I don't know what I'm saving it for, but it will be important someday.
이 순간이 다 되어 내리라.
Saving it for until 10. Yeah, all the way. I'm gonna hold on to it all the way till Marcel's chapter.
처음으로 숨통이 튀었던 순간
Hello, Infinity Nuts. How you doing? You caught us on the final boss of this chapter.
요.
How is she not in stun? Is she not below the limit?
뭘 써야 하는지 딱 느낌이 오잖아.
로신한테 꿈에 닿을 때까지 몇 번이고.
Okay, now she's stunned.
숨막히도록 견뎌왔고 절박하게 갈망했으며 헤아릴 수 없이 저주했으니
그라제 그것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지. 아, 별로 어려울
Yeah, this was way easier than when I fought her with the ads and then her distorted form. Even though Yi Sing's about to die. Don't worry about it.
없도록.
Oh, you're making a D&D character. What are you making? What campaign?
귀와 요격. 겨냥 상수.
I actually didn't stop and see if Yi Sang had enough HP to pull off his attack. Because I know he has some bleed on him.
입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
몰아치는 것을 저주 몸 아름다운 것 그렇지 않은 것
Okay, Yi Sang lives.
다 법을 이제야 좀 이해했고
I get to do it. I get to do the funny.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
Sorry. I got pulled away for a little bit. And didn't click the turn.
다 되어 내리라
This should finish her off though. A Jinsei Bard, a custom PM class that's based on a singing machine. That sounds cool. You should link that in the Discord if when you're finished, because I want to see, like, I always love seeing more PM inspired stuff. You can find my Discord right here. But I would love to see that when you're finished. She's not as powerful as I recall, yet weighed down by the brand. I'm not so far ahead or behind. Oh, he's still affected by the brand? I don't know. I think you're doing pretty well. Verily, and they appear evenly matched. Yet, I thought she cut off his brand, didn't she? He's wielding that sword like he's trying to get himself killed. That blade work is far beneath him. Seeking the end here, is he? Can you afford to look away in the duel? What are you doing? You'd rather lock your sword with mine than parry it away? And have a proper sword fight with a blade lock though, huh? The duel between the mentor of the Syndicate and the military commissioner of Escort is neck to neck. Clash after the clash. The two warriors eventually lock their blades in a contest of might before it comes close to a final fatal bout. When the dust settles, the mentor lies in the sand dead. If that's what you want, I'll grant it. Good. Let's finish this. Is a blade lock practical and realistic? No. Like, I think the physics of a blade lock doesn't, or physics of a sword doesn't allow for a blade lock, because eventually you just slip and cut someone, doesn't it? Just as Bamboo had Kim and Im Gyung ready for their final bout, Ongdu leaped in between them. Ongdu? Are you really so ashamed that you would choose death over life, mentor? Are you so scared to live that you'd rather die? Yes, I am. I am scared. I'm terrified of my own audacity to live my days as though I hadn't failed everything and everyone who had the misfortune of placing their faith in me. My mission, my honor, my fellows. As though my path isn't haunted by ghosts, as though I could stand shamelessly before watching the eyes of the heaven. What have I even done with the life that was given to me? Blind to the realities of my homeland, I served a master who chose politics over loyalty and justice. I down my very fellows who chose to trust me like a fool. Walked my entire life as the flow carried me, and finally had the mind to look back. Oh, I saw where red traces everywhere I'd gone. It's about time I admitted that this game cannot be one that... Mentor, the weakness is your strength. The weakness in your strength has failed your mission. The weakness in your position has failed your honor. And the weakness in your heart has become the fiendish blade that cuts down your fellows. Oh, do? I thought you were here to talk me into keep on living. Yet your words pain me so. What weakness of yours is it this time, that you would cast away your own creed in life? What other weakness will you use as an excuse today? Stop trying to bear responsibilities asked not of you. The blade lineage was never about responsibility, nor was it about you, mentor. Or does your overbearing guilt help you overestimate your importance? What was that saying again? Fellow travelers in the same boat will aid one another. Not a single soul demanded that of you. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. And I have had enough of that flippant larking of yours. We all have. Do you truly believe not a single one of us had picked up on the fact that all your levity was a means of relieving yourself of the burden you had cast upon your shoulders? None of us ever demanded some impossible feat from you. What was it that you'd always said to describe yourself? That you're but a butchering blade that wields not itself, but a tool wielded by willing hands? Why, mentor, I know not what kind of shame or responsibilities a mere tool has, do you? Because I fail to see any. And the shame does not subside still. And then shroud your face with that bamboo hat of yours and live on. Live on so that you may repay your debts. Out of blades, out of arrows. Even the heart that saw death flies defeated at your feet. There's no stone left for my next gambit. There is. Nothing more. Indeed, perhaps there was some merit in your words. Retreat from the silly game of stones and become a fiend of blades. Mentor? That's not what I said. Interesting. Let's did you hear that poem? Yes, when inverted, a bamboo hat is like an unladen ship. Andung and Im Jung were knocked away from bamboo-headed Kim, and so bounced off by an invisible force. Kim raises his gaze to meet the empty air as though someone were there, a hollow laughter escaping his lips. Oh no! Oh no! He's talking to her! He's talking to her! We know who he's talking to. It's the voice. Hey, buddy. Welcome back. Want a second round of that distortion? Huh? I can give you it again. But your last move was not a good one. Indeed, I had wished to become a blade. What did you do? Forge me into an indiscriminate one that cleaves blindly into friend and foe both. It seems that in your excitement you have cornered yourself with that last move. Well, it seems that I have no opportunity to retrace our past moves. Let me try something different this time. Be not so vexed by this round, as you say. You never know what the next game shall bring. I appreciate and will treasure the other bits of your advice. But let us play by my rules for tonight's game. Something's different this time, isn't it? I genuinely forgot. Did Heath hear anything when he disordered? Yes, he did. He heard the voice. As we know, Mersal probably distorted at some point and also talked with Carmen. And distorting. I think that's an efflorescence, perhaps. Nothing is for certain indeed. I trust that the words from my last remaining follower has also reached your ears, and I am but a tool wielded by willing hands. Nothing in my life has ever been certain. I know not whether this move is what cements my defeat, but I desire to be victorious stone nonetheless. Thank you. I'll take what encouragement I can. The strange invisible pressure dissipates, and the armored woman, Im Gyung-up, readjusts her grips on the sword. Im turned around and to look at her, and saw that weighty shadow seems to have been lifted from his face, replaced by a mix of relief and determination. A bit embarrassing to change my stance now, but now I fight to live. I suppose you will be okay with that? Of course. You hide from heaven's gaze this hat I wore, an empty boat that bore my friends along. A bamboo veiled we drift from shore to shore. With wine I don my hat, to watch blooms throng. In mirth I doff that shroud to moon adore. Oh, he's so cool! And so with my bamboo hat to veil my brow, he put on the hat again! Though the winds and rain may rage, I shall not throw. Hi to me, bamboo-headed one. Speak your name, for I find your outfit dubious of character. I am he who has mentored the lineage of blades to a premature end. I am he who has sought to bring salvation to the downtrodden to no avail. What to call a man who has failed to disburden himself to the world? How to name a man who has failed to bear the weight of the world? There is none. So call me Bamboo-headed Kim. Bamboo-headed Kim, the treasonous wretch.
구, 언, 올. 하지.
Went to Strixhaven. Already a bit cuckoo and for the final project killed someone in front of everyone and tried to make a musical magnum opus. It ended up working because they literally killed a person they needed to flee. Feywild is unfortunately the closest place, and so spent a few years trying to perfect their craft, eventually returned to normal world to recreate their perfect melody. Ah, interesting. The photographs rapidly fold away from reality. Perhaps because Kim had successfully managed to face his own past. When the photographs and memories that were overlaid upon their fathoms were pulled away, all remains is a man in dirty and ragged clothing. The fathoms of Ascor slowly lose grip on this world, and soon reveals the fathoms of the distortion that was hidden underneath it. I see residents of the backstreets in their blissful highs from taking canned experiences, and a man who's watching them with disapproval. Why? Why? Why is everyone running away from all this? A baker always surrounded by the smell of freshly baked bread. A florist who makes lovely boutiques for graduating youngsters. Photographer who captures beautiful sights to remember. Our lives, our experiences. Want to be billionaire of an extravagant mansion and nest? A legendary fixer who can make the syndicates cower in fear just by going on a stroll? What you get from those cans is not real. Is everything in your lives, all of this, just empty means to an end? So that you can get high on fake purchase experience nailed into a can? Is that all your life is then? My life? And the photographs I've taken are all... No, it can't be. My life, those experiences and memories I've photographed are different. All blindly consuming fake experience after fake experience without a care about the real thing. That's why we're all floundering, grasping at illusions. So let me show you the things I've shot. The memories, experiences, the reality of your lives. Touch grass. It was only in passing by a glimpse of an unmistakable grimace, a scowl on Mersault's face. I reflected upon the events of today, and I could at least begin to guess as to why that might be. You don't believe there's any experience in either the canned experience or that guy's photographs, do you, Mersault? Because experiences and memories aren't the same thing. This interval is going to be the thing that makes you read The Stranger. I might do the same. So that I can get up to date on the symbolism. What really distinguishes them? I wasn't sure. Correct, Manager. But what I knew was that the distinction was, for whatever reason, important to Mersault. Huh? A figure materializes into a humanoid form, sprawling out the projector. He must be the distortions. And next to him is another figure, stumbling out of a giant suit of armor. Blimey, that thing's still alive? It is by an overlay of fathoms created within a distorted space. The concept of life and death has little meaning for such a thing. Yet faint does she grow. It must be that the distortion's power is waning. Hark, accused one, for these are your crimes. The crime of fomenting chaos in a foreign wing while impersonating Chunokunza's Salpipio Agro Industries. The crime of exploiting the suffering of Salpipio Agro Industries downtrodden as a mere veil for one's own fathoms. And, though it be a part of a reenactment, impersonating a military commissioner of the kingdom without the royal decree. Pursuant to the law of the homeland, the accused is to be sentenced to death by beheading. Before we even had a chance to step in or anything, the famed mirage-like warrior brought down her sword on the docugrapher's neck, decapitating him. Wow, that's a lot more graphic than I was expecting. They usually don't show something like that. In an empty of fathoms, slay one outside of it. Such an instance has heretofore never been observed, but as that is happening right now, right before our eyes. I can only say yes. Young Yelp is a woman of principle. She would have done the same thing to the bitter end had she truly been here. As the headless body of the inflection point crumples to the floor, Im Gyung-yop's shape slowly fades out of reality. We found ourselves back in the projection room. And there... Oh, wait. Don't tell me that headless corpses. We found a large group of injured Encore staff thrown pell-mell about the room, and Ezra, who was looking down at the headless body of the doctographer. We might have life insurance. You never know.
하고 있어요. 뒤틀림에서 다시 사람의 형상으로. 살수의 방식으로는 절대 도달하지 못했을 결과일 테죠.
You might have life insurance.
이젠 좀 알 것 같...
Yep, right on. Gotcha, team leader. And that's the initial report done. Good work, guys. Plugging our radio back in, Ezra commanded us in a relief voice. Distortion has perished in the mission. But then I caused trouble. Yeah, that kinda sucks. That's not like you guys could help it. Oh, thought that the distortion would kill its own inflection point. If we knew that in advance, we probably would have prepared something to stop it, but... that's for the LCD and team leader to investigate. Oh no, this mission was still a success since we managed to eradicate the distortion from Encore. Not to mention satisfy our clients. Also, Ezra looked towards Ongdu and Kim with a lighthearted shrug. Clearly less concerned than she had been earlier. Now I finally know why you've been disappearing on your own without letting us know. Glad you don't seem to have any more reason to, though. So it's all good. Hey, that's the real win in this mission in my book. Point is, we did it. We did the thing. It's done. Gosh. I swear I'm never doing one thing so about team leader again. I got this close to losing it a few more times. It seemed that the responsibility of looking after her LCD juniors had kept her stressed and high-strung throughout the mission. I hadn't noticed it, but her brows had finally relaxed, bringing back the chipper Ezra that I was more familiar with. Yes, I shall not abide by more of your indolence. You will now join us on missions and tasks as you're expected to. Is that understood, Mentor? Do. Would you mind releasing the hems of my sleeve? Oh, what I wouldn't give to lie down and pass out right about now. The raw emotion on Kim's voice had likewise faded. Yvonne's voice no longer as barbed as it had been in the Fathoms. It seems to me that the two were back to be more relaxed, into the more relaxed selves that I knew. Can't exactly say more relaxed for Kim though, because that's how it's always been. At least from what I've seen in my Indian case. Fine, you're released. You give me a hard handshake. I don't feel so good. Seongdu, I'm afraid I might have gone overboard with upgrading your arm. With your hem released, allow me to reiterate that. Stop. My heart finds peace as well as I watch them bicker. Is everyone doing okay? Yes, Executive Manager. Our forces have only suffered minor injuries that do not require you to go through the trouble of rewinding the clock. Hang on, mate. I've got a dislocated shoulder. I can pop that right back into place for you. Allow me, I've taken care of similar injuries in the field. Yeah, guess what happened to the last time I let you do that? You took my bloody arm the wrong way and turned the bones in my shoulder into little chips. Oh, sweat it, I can rewind that. By now I've already grown used to the pain of rewinding Cinder's injury. A dislocated shoulder shouldn't be that big of a deal. I have to ask thee a clarification, if thou will. Yeah? Dost thou recall how, as we bowed to Encore's, pin frame team, the foes have taken photographs of us? And... There are those who were sent to identity and capture the ones who have violated taboo, forsooth? As we stood in their path, there's no mystery why we had come to blows. I find it most perplexing. Wherefore did they take so many photographs of us? Maybe they're taking photographs to report their locations? Recording footage is taboo in Encore, meaning they can't install security cameras here. And their only option for keeping a constant record when tracking down a case or a person is by photographs. Thine words hold water, yet, most puzzling forsooth. Oh, I recall with clarity from a certain point, they began photographing us with renewed obsession. Oh hey, that does sound like a question for Marcel. Given how often I had to rely on information Marcel had provided me in this mission, I think I got enough practice how to phrase my question the right way and pull the answers I need from him. I couldn't get him to tell us his own judgment on matters, but since he seems to have a near photographic memory of what he's seen. Marcel, do you remember how many pictures of us the Encore staff took? I do. 56 times. Can't believe Marcel is like a genie. Gotta be super specific. I think that's just him being like legitimately, actually, unironically, Marcel might be autistic. That's a lot of pictures. You actually remember the exact numbers of times they shot us. I do. It's always so neat seeing his memory in action. So did you get a chance to see which one of us got the most photographs taken? I did. Ooh, who is it? Who is it? Ooh, is it me? I'd make for a fine model if I do say so myself. You do? We love Rodion. No, it wasn't you. It was me. Huh? What? Why? I mean, what's the most statistically likely reason that it was you? In that moment that I heard the sound of pebbles crunching on her boots approaching us louder and louder. Oh, what the heck? Encore. Ah, dang it. Are you here because we beat up some of your guys? Listen here, we had to because of the distortion, see? It's as she says, the skirmish is an unfortunate consequence of combating the distortion phenomenon. The Limbus company provides a customer damage compensation program in case of such unforeseen events. Instead of engaging us in battle, please elect to contact the emergency response team at our headquarters as your first. Yes, we fully understand the circumstances surrounding the battle. We intend to submit an expeditious request for damage compensation as you recommended. But we're here on different business, so if you be so kind to let us speak. Different business? They're here to arrest me, manager. Hold on, Marcel, let's hear them out. Wait, what? Marcel did not resist. He walked past us and joined the group of Encore employees. Please confirm that you're Marcel, formerly one who nails. What? What? Formerly one who nails and a former member of maintenance and management team at the Grand Magician Sisyphe headquarters. Not just a member of Encore, a high up member of Encore. Confirmed. By the decree of the Giants, you have been expelled from Encore with imprisonment as a penalty for non-compliance. Pursuant to Article 12 of the eviction regulations, you have been informed that remaining in Encore's district for more than 6 hours may subject you to immediate arrest. Please confirm that your memory pertaining to the above incident has not been expunged and you are of sound mind to recall it in entirety. Confirmed. I'm kind of shocked that they're willing to give him even like the outs of maybe his memory was fucked up. Very well. Then in keeping with the regulations, I hereby notify you that you are now subject to arrest and transport. Place your hands behind your back and please offer no resistance. I'm required to inform you that resistance may incur further penalties. Oh, wait, stop. What the hell is going on? Wait, forget all that. Did you notice what happened to Marcel? Marcel, who stood calmly with his arms behind his back as the Encore employees handcuffed him, nodded placidly in my direction. I did, manager. Then why the heck didn't you warn? That was less a question and more of a reflex, but I didn't need to hear his reply to know why. Right, I never asked, did I? You did not. I'd say you should have warned us way earlier, but you just reply, I'll follow these instructions going forward, right? Yes, I would. Say it with me, manager. I will follow these instructions in the future. Subject now in custody. From this moment onward, you are considered a suspect and will be transported to NCORP headquarters for your trial. As for the rest of you, would you be the organization the suspect is a part of? Organize your arse. What in the bloody hell do you think you're... Heathcliff, you're about to antagonize NCORP, a wing. In the absence of a reasonably justified case, such a contract engaging in battle over the city's corporate entities is strongly discouraged. Yeah, we're just supposed to twiddle our thumbs while they drag him away? This must be another piece of information they neglected to tell me. Yet another development that was set in stone. Despite her calm and collected explanation, I could tell that this was not a pleasant situation for Faust either. I should send an uncomfortable glance at the NCORP's employees. So, what are y'all thinking? A retrial will be scheduled for the execution of the exile sentence. They replied dispassionately as they took Mersault into custody. We looked back at them, not knowing what to do or say. The late afternoon sun prickled at us like 1,000 hot needles. Mersault, now in cuffs, gazed at us with an expression that would not seem out of place on any ordinary day. That son's gonna cause a murder. Yep, it's on his eyes. All right. Now we have a setup for our next Kanto. We have a setup for our next Kanto where Mersault's in jail. Man, what a Kanto. What are you talking about, manager? That was only an Intervallo. That's a long Intervallo. Not really, but it feels like a lot more talking than usual. We're gonna do a prison break, or we're gonna study real quick how law degree works in NCORP. All right, let's go to just chatting. And calling it now, Ishmael's gonna try and learn the law. Yeah, that seems like something she'd try and do. Either that or like you can lean on Faust. One of the Fausts has to be a lawyer, right? I don't trust Yi Sang to be a very good lawyer, but I think Faust is probably okay. The Gestalt is trying to fuck Faust. That is true. She is stupid. She is stupid, Faust. Maybe they'll tell her to figure it out by herself. Okay, it's up to you, Ishmael. All right. That was fun. That was a fun little interval. I enjoyed that. Upcoming stuff. Wednesday, I will have a stream that will be at 9 EST, 8 p.m. Central. It'll be either here or on Lumina's channel. We are going to be checking out the demo for an upcoming multiplayer character action game called... what was it called again? Colonel Hearts. The demo is out on Steam right now if you want to check that out as well. I've saw the trailer for that a while ago and thought it was really cool. So, looking forward to that. Besides that, on Thursday, I am in Olympia again. I'll be joining on the Uma Musume side. Don't think I'll be streaming my section, but I will be on call somewhere. Someone will be streaming and you can see me there. I will give more information as we get closer to the day. So you can look for me there. And yeah. Friday will be Flex, and then Saturday will be Fabula Ultima. And Sunday is more Resident Evil. That's about it. As always, if you are interested in keeping up with me, you can follow me on my socials right here. I always post first on the Discord before anything else. And check out my YouTube channel, I guess. I need to plug my YouTube channel more. here. You can see my YouTube here. I upload shorts there. I also stream there, but that's really more for archival purposes, so don't feel pressure to watch my YouTube streams either. Okay, that's about it. Let's find someone to raid. Well, first, thank you for stopping by, Hugs and Bugs, and also Gunter and Winter, and Hectic Sketcher, and Rose Cyan, and Infinite Nuts. I appreciate you all for stopping by, and anyone else who was lurking in the back, I appreciate your lurks as well. Let's find someone to raid. I'll send you all to someone. Who's doing stuff? Who be doing things? Lumina is having a... Lumina is doing an anniversary stream, and since I'm collabing with Lumina on Wednesday, a good time to send all to her. Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Bye.